Talk is the show. Good to have you here again today. My name is Bidi Nana. Here we keep it real. Everything relationship, it has to do with you, your family, your loved one, your friends. We keep it locked down real here. Good to have you to join us again today. Let's go for a quick break. Don't go away. I have wonderful people with me to do it like always today. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Still we talk. Just like always, we bring exciting topic for here today. Marriage is a wonderful thing in life. It's a wonderful institution that has been instituted for mankind. What is marriage? Marriage is coming together of a man and a woman to grow, build our society. The outcome of our marriages determines the outcome of our societies. And today we will be looking at intertribal marriages, a case study of what is happening in Nigeria today. And before we do that, I know I'm not always alone. I have wonderful people all the way from Canada, Toronto. I have an authority in relationship. Join me to make a welcome for Sajaj. Sajaj always looking
Hello.
calm.
Hello, Bidi. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'll use this opportunity to welcome all the viewers from around the world. My name is George Chukwu, and I'm from Toronto, Canada. So today, it is a pleasure to be here to discuss an important issue. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much for having you. It's always my pleasure. All the way from Milan, massive man, the man with big things. Massive man, good to have you today on Real Talk.
Thank you very much, BD. It's good to have you guys. Good to see George. Looking
Yes,
good.
thank
Looking
you,
good
sir.
always.
Looking
Looking
good
good.
yourself, my brother.
Good to
Thank
have
you.
you all. Now, case study of what is happening in Nigeria today. I said, let's talk about intertribal marriage. What is intertribal marriage? Intertribal marriage is a marriage between a man and a woman who is coming from different ethnic religion, different tribe, different everything, but they come together. And what brings them together is love. And if you look at what has transpired in Nigeria in the last few months, you will tell me that intertribal marriage, that Nigerians are not yet ripe for intertribal marriage. Now, Sir George, looking at what transpired in Nigeria a few months ago, or a few weeks ago, it's not even up to months, would you still encourage Nigerians to get involved in intertribal marriages?
Well, what happened in politics just a few weeks ago and what has been happening actually will have little or less to do with intertribal marriages. The reason being that, they say that empty boxes make a lot of noise. And what happened a few weeks ago in regarding politics in Nigeria, basically are a few number of uneducated hoodlums who were hijacking and taking advantage of politics per se in order to, to basically hijack the whole system. Um, I wouldn't say that because of that little thing that happened that we would discourage people from getting married or married to people from different tribes. Because marriage is a beautiful thing. Marriage is where you bring two people from different, either two intertribal or interethnic marriages, is where two people from different backgrounds, two different cultures, possibly languages, and understanding to come together to form their own family where they will put two different cultures, languages, and their own interpersonal ideas and the way they think together in order to forge forward as a family. So I wouldn't think that because a little thing happened with politics, that happens every 4 years, would destroy the intertribal or interethnic marriages. So that's my own viewpoint. Yeah, if you love one another and something like this happens, your love will conquer that nonsense that just took place. But all we're saying is that what happened a few weeks ago regarding politics have nothing to do with intertribal marriage. And it's just a bunch of empty heads that are making all this noise. That's my own assessment over that.
That's a wonderful point there. Massive Mark. Sir George said what happened in Nigeria a few weeks ago during the election was just a little thing, and it should not discourage people getting into intertribal marriage. A case study of a Nigerian. In Lagos State, a man by name Badebo Rosvaba was vying for the office of governor. His mother is from the southeast, is an Igbo woman, and his father is a Yoruba man from a well-known family in Yoruba. And he was denied, criticized, abused of not being qualified to be a governor of Lagos State. They even told him, right in front of him, to go to the east where he belongs. Told him that he doesn't belong here. Now, have you thought of the psychological effects that was going to have on him? So I just said it's just a little thing. But this guy, if he's not somebody who doesn't have toughness of the spirit, this he might live with this for the whole of his life. So what do you make of this and intertribal marriage?
Yes, BD. Good topic here. Very good topic. It's good to be relevant with the time, and that's what you're doing with this program. Thank you very much. So, we're seeing what is happening in Nigeria. It's not too nice. All of a sudden, um, relationships, beautiful, cordial relationship people have had through the years is being challenged because of some knuckleheads, some people that have risen to create this fraction between us. Um, One thing is that as long as human beings exist, there will be intertribal relationship, intertribal marriages, interethnic marriages, interethnic relations. These things have come to stay, not only in Nigeria but all over the world. You have, in fact, you have international, multinational relationship. People from different nationality joining together. Um, yes, in the case of Nigeria, it's not pleasant that this is coming now because we are interwoven. We use that word a lot, and that's a fact. A lot of we've had too many. I mean, so many families in Nigeria cut across all ethnicity, all tribes. So, um, well, this is happening. Like George said, it's just some knuckleheads, some few, very few people that have just reason to do this, and it's for their own selfish interests. Let's take note that today we have so many families like that of that governor aspirant, governor candidate for Lagos, Gbadebo. There are homes that have, in fact, you have grown up, you have men that are in their 50s and 60s now that are partly Yorubas, partly Hausas, and all that, Yoruba, Igbo, all those tribes together. So what matters is we are human beings and we have this freedom of relationship. Marriage is a beautiful thing, and it's celebrated. It's celebrated around the world with all kinds of nationality. So um, we don't want to encourage anything that will go against people freely wanting to freely interrelate with themselves. You know, a Ibibio girl could fall in love with a Nupe boy. um, a Rivers, an Efik boy could fall in love with a Fulani girl, and that makes who we are, human beings that are open to relating with themselves. So yes, it's happening. In fact, also as much as that one is happening in Nigeria, you also have this racism here in the West. And if you look at the people that promote racism, they are ignorant bunch of people. It's common. So, but we are encouraging free relationship. Yes, there could be factors that could be challenging inter racial relationship, inter ethnic, and all that. But what's more important is two people meeting themselves, liking themselves, appreciating themselves, and want to form a relationship. I mean, nobody should stop that. God
That,
doesn't even
that's
stop
a
from.
wonderful one. But you did not answer my last question. I say,
Yes,
what have you
right.
considered the psychological effects that might have on Badebaro's vibe? That attack, that attack
Yes,
on Badebaro's vibe. Have
yes,
you considered the psychological effects it might have on him?
yes. There's a whole big psychological effect that comes with what has happened. In fact, been I'm here in Europe, but I grew up in Lagos. I was born in Lagos. I grew up in Lagos, and I felt I felt very downtrodden with that whole thing. Like, oh, so all this while I've been in Lagos, thinking I'm a Lagosian, I'm a Lagos man, and now I'm really not, because some people think I'm not. So I had that emotional thought too, and
Okay.
it would have been heavy on such Gbadebo. But the but there is, we are who we are regardless of what anybody thinks. We are who we are regardless of what division the politicians are trying to create. So he is a Lagosian, and in fact, he's not bothered. The whole thing will fizzle away after a point in time. He will come to the realization that this is it, but it doesn't change who he is. He is the son of a Lagosian, and the mother is from the southeast. So that doesn't make
That's
anything.
okay.
So yeah, he will feel bad for a moment, but he continues, because he actually has grown up knowing this in school, primary school, secondary school. We face this in Lagos. They call you Omona, they call you those names, but we grew past those challenges and we still move on.
It, it's okay. Thank you very much. That was a good one. Yeah, he will come to terms that it's normal and he will overcome it.
Mhm.
But remember
That's
that
correct.
it's not everyone that overcome things like that. Yeah, people might let it go. It might pass, but the effect of such action might affect our life generally. But that's okay. Now, when you talk about intertribal marriage, there are factors we should look at. Considering how we get into marriage today in our society or in the world, there are factors you should consider in intertribal marriage. And one of those factors is family concept and acceptance. And in our today's world, we see how our young people have getting carried away by love. And when they're in love, they don't care. They don't give a hook or a damn about who is around or who cares or who don't care. Now, if in intertribal marriage you need the concept and acceptance of the families, how do we deal with this, Sir George?
Well, I remember when I first wanted to get married to my American girlfriend, a Black American girlfriend, the mother of my children, I told my father that what I was planning to do. And the first thing he said, "You are my first son. I want you to come back here and find you a wife." So I was in love. And having grown up in America, I came back to Nigeria a few times, but I wasn't able to actually find somebody who was thinking the way I was thinking at that moment. And as a child, it was quite difficult for me growing up, having recultured my mindset and the way I was thinking, to come to Nigeria, find somebody, that you have not developed a relationship with for so long. They were bringing me people. When I come back, they will bring all these girls to come. And then, and to me, I can't just get married to somebody I don't know because my family introduced me to you. So to me, it is all about who do I have I fallen in love with. So my father did that, and what I had to do, in essence, was to go ahead and do what I had to do. So I got married to my and I told him, I said, Dad, I've been back home several times, and here we are, and I've not been able to. No, don't worry, we will introduce you. I know most of my friends, they are very educated too, and their families, their daughters are very beautiful, and I would like you to form a relationship with one of them. I say, but it's just I am ready to marry now. I don't want to wait until I'm 40 years old because I'm ready. So anyway, I got married, and when I finally let them know what was going on, they had to accept it. So now, when it comes to family acceptance, especially with tribal or ethnic situation in Nigeria, that's one of the most important things that somebody will have to consider, because that ethnic differences and those cultural differences and traditional differences can affect, because in Nigerian marriages mostly, you're not just marrying to the individual, you're marrying to the family. So that acceptance is very, very important. So now, if a person is trying to convince the family that this is who I want to get married to, and they are having some skepticisms, it is up to you to let them know. Like I told my nephew, who is marrying a Yoruba beautiful young lady, like I said before, when he came to me, the first thing I asked is, are you in love with her? He said, Uncle, I love this girl. She's my life. I said, okay, let me have opportunity to meet with her. We went out together, all of us. I fell in love with the girl too. And I'm like, wow. So afterwards, the following morning, I didn't say anything that night. The following morning, my heart accepted the young lady. He called me, said, Uncle, you didn't say anything. I said, there is nothing to say. He's like, what do you mean? I said, she's our wife. The guy was so elated and so happy, and today they are married. So what I'm saying is, I know those cultural differences will exist. And what happens with that cultural differences is because of illiteracy most of the time. If you are very well enlightened, those cultural differences and family acceptance should not be an issue. In Igbo land, we see a lot of people from Anambra wanting to marry from Imo, or Imo wanting to marry from Abia State, and they start bringing all these stupidity, backward thinking type of things. Today even one of my friends wanted to get married to a young lady, and then they discovered that they say this Osu type of situation. The father is saying, no, you cannot marry. He came to me and he said, no, Uncle, I don't understand. I said, listen to me. My dad is insisting that I will not. I said, why not? You are in Canada. What is stopping you? You are supposed to be one of the people to stop this nonsense from continuing to happen. He wrote to Vatican City, to Pope, that this should stop in Catholicism, that they're supposed to make a plain ground. So these are things that is happening that came from, way back in tradition and culture. I don't think it should be that way. We've come to the point in civilization where we ought to bypass all those things and crush them and flush them so that we can move forward with who we are today, not from yesterday. That's what I think.
So in conclusion, what you're saying that this acceptance, this acceptance and concept is very, very important. So it is your duty to convince your family to accept your partner. That's what you're trying to tell us in conclusion.
This is one thing that I am trying to say, because number one is, if they don't accept the young lady and you don't have the ability to convince them, it becomes an issue, because every time she's around, she'll have this, complex that they don't like me, and that can change the whole dynamics of, you being around your family. Most of the time, it will even make the girl or the guy not to want to be there. So it is up to you to sell that good to your family and make sure, if you love me, you have to love who I choose that I want to marry to. If you don't, then it is your problem. Because I don't think we should allow such to be. what should stop somebody? Because family is refusing. They're backwards in their thinking, or they're thinking tribal or tribal or ethnic sensitivities and all those type of things. I don't think it's supposed to be. Besides, anyway, how long are you going to be with your family if you really think about it? Christmas time, Easter time, especially if you guys are not in the same area, is only a small fraction of your time. The 24/7 is with your own wife. So it is now up to you to make sure that your family renew their mindsets and accept who you are bringing as part of you. Because eventually, what happens with this, it is going to be your life, not their lives. It is eventually going to be
That's
your
okay.
life
Thank you.
with your wife, not their lives. It is important,
It's
but
okay.
it's supposed to be inconsequential.
I like that. It's
Yes,
important and but it's supposed to be inconsequential because it's your life. That's a
that's
nice
right.
one. Now, massive man. Sajot has said it a lot. Now, difference in culture and background. Now, in getting married, when it comes to intertribal marriage, we'll have different ethnic groups, we'll have culture, we'll have custom, we'll have belief system. Now, is there important for the both parties to get accustomed with different parties' custom, for them to get along very well? Is it important? At least your partner you want to marry, is it necessary you get to understand some of their custom, their belief, you understand their culture, and she or he does to you too, so that you people can live coherently without a problem. Is that important? Unmute
You're
yourself,
muted.
you're on mute.
Yes, it's very important to have those have a taste of that your spouse or your relationship partner have a taste of their culture, their way of doing things, so that you can understand how to relate to that person. So it's very important to do that. You might not have all the experience, you might not have all the whole nine, but a little of it, so you can understand where that person is coming from. So cultural indifferences that is brought in and used to enhance the relationship is important. Yes, it's important. And you
That's
also
a
have yes, it's very important. You also have apart from culture too, you also have like food, language. If probably there are different kind of food, kind of language, it's good to have a taste of all those things, and it's good to have that open air of communication. If you can. So those things really matter because we are coming from different. Each one of us, even in the same people from the same culture, still have some little differences in their ways of doing things. So having an idea and an experience with your spouse in their culture, their way of doing things, their food, their even maybe learning some of the language they speak, you know, it helps. It helps.
thank you.
It's not,
Thank you.
yes, it helps.
Thank you very much. That's a nice one. It really helps because if you say you love somebody, you want to spend your life with that person, it is very important. You get to understand them very well. You get to study them and understand where they're coming from. Now, the most important here is the family rights. We've had a situation whereby some people they come from marriage, for marriage rituals, and they're like, no, I can't do this, no, I can't do this. Some family has a way they do their marriage rights, and some family, maybe probably on the other family, it's not their thing. Now, what are you saying about this right thing? To some family, it is their right, it is them, it is normal for them. And some other family say, other family or other culture, it's they can't even imagine it. Now, in such situation, what do you suggest? Is your right, and the other family, no, 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 it can be done. Now, Sir George, what do you suggest in that situation?
Well, number one, we know that for you to get into interethnic or tribal marriage, it is the responsibility of both parties to find out the rights and the cultures. So these things are very, very important. The reason why they are important is simply because, you're entering into a zone that is unknown to you. You might know the individual, but there are some things regarding to that individual that they come in with, the package they come with, that you need to familiarize yourself with. And in a situation of such, you got to make sure that you do understand how those things happen. For instance, when it comes to dowries, dowries are things that are a lot of people, I'm telling you, that it kind of surprises the heck out of them sometimes, especially in Igbo land. Whereby you coming from US or a white man, and then you're telling somebody that they need to, especially in some villages like Mbise. When you marry an Mbise woman, your pocket better be deep, because if your pocket is not deep when you're marrying an Mbise woman, especially they put the prices based on the level of education of that individual. So if they are very, very educated, usually the prices of the dowry will increase. And then also the villagers take advantage of these things, the elders. They tell you to buy this and buy that and buy this and buy that. By the time you finish, even if into the marriage itself, you'll be owing so much money. I'm very poor. You have nothing to start with. So, but what happens is, if you are able to enter into a culture that is different from yours, and you learn it, and you see that you are ready for such because you love that individual, then you can acclimatize yourself into such and then go for it. But I know a friend of mine who wanted to marry an Igbo woman, and when the things happened in their marriage, before even that time, his thing was, am I buying the woman? I said, no, you're not buying the woman. It's just the culture. It's almost like I'm paying for her. So, I say, well, you're not really paying it. Dowry is something that came from the ancient days. And I told him, I said, you're a Christian. Look at it. Even with David, when he killed Goliath, one of the benefits of killing Goliath was that the king will make you his in-law by giving you one of the daughters. But in case of Saul, when the time came to give, the daughter to David, what did he do? He gave it to somebody else. Now I had to charge David to go and get 100 foreskins of the Philistines as a dowry to go and marry Michal. And he went and got 200 because he loved the girl. And we know of Jacob, who wanted to marry Leah, the ugly duckling, and Rachel, and Leah was given to Jacob. And the man said, listen, we can't give you our second daughter. It's our culture that the first must marry first. And then this man had to work another 7 years, for the woman. So dowry is something that is from the ancient days, and it continues with Igbo land because we came from the culture of the Jews, as a matter of fact, and that's why we have dowry. So it is the individual's responsibility to find out these cultural differences and then make sure that they are ready before they enter into that relationship. If you're not ready, then take your time to get comfortable, because you don't want to go and marry somebody and spend all this money and come and resent that woman at home, because money issue is very, very important when it comes to marriages.
Wow, that's a nice one. That's a nice one. And we've had stories when people, after paying that, they get so angry. But that's for the next time. Now, my last question before we leave today here is, need for sacrifice or compromise or love? Which of them is far more important in intertribal marriage? But before you answer that question, let's go for a quick break. And when we return, we continue. This store Intertribal Marriage Season 1 because this season 2
This
will
country
still
has
come
some of the
up
most
next week.
extraordinary
Let's
culinary
go.
diversity in the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. This first dish is amala abula, made popular by the Yoruba people in southwest Nigeria. It starts with amala made from dried yam and then is covered in a variety of soups. Next we have ofe and sala, a white soup that is synonymous with the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria. It goes best with fufu, or akbo as the Igbos call it. Next we have suya, the most well-known food of the Hausa and Fulani people of northern Nigeria. Meat is covered in a peanut-based powder called yaji and cooked over an open fire. This is banga and starch, a classic of the Urhobo people of Delta State. Lastly, we have onunu, a plantain-based swallow of the Izon people in south-south Nigeria. We are eating it with fisherman soup, popular throughout this whole region. And of course, we don't forget the jollof rice. This is popular everywhere in Nigeria. I think what makes Nigeria so great is the diversity of all the different people coming together. These beautiful ethnic groups living side by side, sharing culture and cuisine is what makes Nigeria such an amazing country to visit. Nigerians should be so proud of that cultural heritage, as there is so much more that unites than divides them.
Us. This is real talk. Here we keep it real. Everything relationship that concerns you, your family, and your loved ones. We keep it real here. And our topic today is intertribal marriage, season 1. And we've been doing a lot of justice to this topic today. My guest hosts, they've been doing what they know how to do. And before we went on break, we were talking about what is more important in intertribal marriage. Is it sacrifice and compromise or love? Massive Mike. What is most
That's
important?
yeah, yeah. That's a tricky one, but it's love, obviously. With love, every other thing follows. When two people are in love, you make sacrifice. You want to, like George said, the young man did a 7 year hard labor to get a wife. Yes, that's what comes with love. When you're in love, you do everything to keep that love, build that love, and make it work. So love is the most important thing. Love doesn't see tribal hate. Love doesn't see language or all these things that we're putting out now in Nigeria. Love doesn't know all of this. Love goes beyond. You just see this person, you're excited, you're happy, and you want to walk your life with that person. So love covers it all. Love goes beyond every other thing. Um, the infighting, the animosity, the political, the politicians are the ones bringing this whole thing up. And they are doing it for a reason. Imagine that we never had this discussion until the election. So this is to tell you how the politicians have worked on our brain. Because as at January this year, nobody was talking this. Nobody was saying your Hausa, your Yoruba, your Igbo. We were just one Nigeria. But right after February 29 election, boom,
25th.
yeah, 25th, it ignited like a bomb. And now we are seeing this on the streets, pointing at somebody saying you're Igbo, and they're even just mumbling up everybody. You're from Akwa Ibom, you're Igbo. You're from Jos, you're Igbo. As long as you're not Yoruba. So, but this is wrong. Love is what we need. Love builds up everything. Love heals the wound also. There's wound of resentment, like you're talking of Gbadebo, how he probably feels about what they did. But with love, he feels good. So we need to preach love. We need to preach unity, peace. We need to go back to that who we say we are, like the documentary you just saw on the food and those cultural things we have all together. Thank you, BD.
Thank
I,
you
I,
very much.
I
I
would, I
like
would
that.
like,
Now,
I would like that.
it's okay. What do you have to say? What do you have to say?
Well, I mean, like what I'm in agreement with Mark because love conquers a multitude of sins. It conquers a lot of differences. Love is the foundation. Anything you build on love, the real authentic love, not not the word kind of love, but the real authentic love. And if anything you build on love will always conquer every difference that comes up. So I honestly believe that, and love is sacrifice actually. You can't differentiate love from sacrifice. Think about it. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. That was a sacrifice. Jesus came into the world to die for all people. He was sacrificed because of love. It was love that kept him on the cross. So anything you start with love will always end in good. But if you use personal, aggrandizement or, personal pursuit or self-interest, to pursue any situation, you compromise. Anything you compromise, you lose. So that's exactly, love is the foundation. Look at what the video that we just saw now. Look at the cultural differences, the beauty of Nigeria as a country. That's why I keep on saying that Nigeria is the most beautiful country in the whole world. Because what we have is, you have united countries or cultures of the world. When you go to the Ibibio, look at the way their food is, their fashion. When you go to Igbo, even within Igbo, you have different cultures and different types of food. Ofen Sala is from Onisha, Ogbono soup or okra soup, the people from Enugu State. And then you go Owerri soup. See these things. Who wants to lose that because we want to be divided? When we begin to appreciate our differences, when we will understand that actually diversity is our strength, that what makes us unique around the world today, where we can be able to. The only problem that I have is because we have been indoctrinated into what you call democracy. But the people that are shoving democracy in our throat refuses to enforce what democracy is really all about. Therefore, we bring cheating, we bring lies, we bring all kinds of things. But that should not be the reason why we will divide that great, awesome country that God put together. Yeah, maybe man brought us together, but yet we have to understand that we are a people that are admired around the world. We are a people that when we come together as a nation, we can take over everywhere we go. And that's one thing that I think that we should do. Let love be. Love be the foundation of everything we do in our country today, in marriage, in politics, and in everything.
Let love reign. Wow. And that's where we'll draw the curtain here today. This is Intertribal Marriage Season 1. We don't want to be taking much of the time. And next week, we'll finish and complete this season. Just stay glued to us. And before we go, massive mic. As we use Badeboro's Viva as an example, on social media, I had a girl who came up to us telling Igbo girls don't marry a Yoruba, and that the way the husband reacted within this period, that in fact that she's leaving her marriage. So I want you in few seconds give your word to young Nigerians who have gotten themselves involved in this intertribal marriage or intertribal relationship. Just in 2 seconds as we close today.
Yes. Please don't let one word. Don't let these politicians spoil what you're building. Some of those relationships have come a long way, so you can't let something of 2023 election to spoil all of that. Keep on. It's also a test of how much you love that person. So use this as a more test and move beyond this. We grow as we get along. So probably this is to encourage you, make you see who this person is. And if you want to be in this, you don't let anything tribal take it off. So also encourage the other ones that are looking to marry other tribe. Yes, explore the world. You are here once. You have a life once, just once in a lifetime. That's all we have. So enjoy this beautiful world God has given to us, and be yourself. Thank you.
Sir George, 2 seconds. That's like you use more than 2 seconds.
Yes, yes. The only thing that I can say is, small minds think small things. You were Igbo, you were Yoruba, you were Hausa, you were Ibibio, you were from Edo before you got married. Politics did not bring you together, and politics, sure enough, should not separate both of you. Make sure that what kept you together, what attracted you before, to bring both of you together should be what will keep you going. They will all come, they will go. But what keeps you is the love that you have for one another. that both of you will look in the same direction together, never looking at each other. In politics, in religion, or any other thing, stay together is my advice.
Thank you. Let's explore. Politics did not bring you together, so don't allow politics to separate you. Let love live. That's here I would draw the curtain here today. My name still remains Bidin Nana, and with my co-host Sir George and Massive Mike, we want to say bye bye. Keep love alive. We love you.
Keep loving.